And action was taken, strong action. Ashley Babbitt was killed. Nobody was killed. There were no guns down there. We didn't have guns. The others had guns, but we didn't have guns. And
wait a minute. Sorry, I am dying laughing. He said Ashley Babbitt was killed. Nobody was killed. And then this lady in the audience goes, what? We should watch.
Peacefully and patriotically. Nothing done wrong at all. Nothing done wrong. And action was taken, strong action. Ashley Babbitt was killed. Nobody was killed. There were no guns.
I am laughing my ass off. Donald Trump just did an interview with the Spanish division of the broadcasting network Univision, and look how pissed off the audience is at his answer. First of all, look at this guy's face. But when I play the clip, Donald Trump is yapping on, look at the body language on these three women. All of them cannot believe what they are hearing, and the woman on the left even physically recoils. Watch her face closely. She's like, is Donald Trump really saying this? And let's see what this guy... He's like, you cannot be serious. Let's break down how we got here throughout this video. We have 20 days to go. We have no time to waste. Make sure you drop a like. Make sure you're subscribed. You can become a member below. Before we dig into all of the clips, Trump just responded to Kamala's interview with Bret Baier, and he's already starting the gaslighting campaign. He said, great job by Bret Baier in his interview with Lion Kamala Harris. She has a massive and irredeemable case of Trump derangement syndrome. So bad, in fact, that she is barely able to talk about any subject other than the man who is at the best economy ever, the strongest border in history, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, she's talking about her opponent. She's exposing you in front of millions of Fox News viewers, and that's why he's mad. And Trump derangement syndrome is a clever way of just brushing off any actual criticism. I mean, Donald Trump tried to coup the effing government, and if we bring that up, they say that it's Trump derangement syndrome. We are being gaslit, and I will keep saying that. People say, Adam, why do you use the word gaslighting so much? Because Trump supporters try to make us feel like reality shifting underneath our feet when it's not. Their endorsement was a tremendous honor, referring to the Border Patrol. They said that Comrade Kamala did a terrible job, the worst in absolute memory. Again, even using rhetoric like Comrade Kamala is inflammatory in and of itself. I mean, Donald Trump says that Democrats are divisive while constantly attacking the media, getting his audience to boo journalists who are 26 years old and just finishing up their degree by saying that Kamala is a communist fascist. Now let's see the audience's reaction, because just check out the body language. Friend of the show Brett Meiselas responded, the more he speaks, the more voters he loses. It's no wonder his handlers are trying to hide him these days. And he's not saying that in jest. I mean, I genuinely think that if Donald Trump would have just sat back for the past month or two and not done any media appearances, he would have a better chance of winning. I'm not gonna lie, 2 months ago he was in a good spot. Just because people associate his presidency with lower grocery prices, and Biden and Kamala didn't cause any increases in prices, I want to clarify, but people do associate that, and Trump was doing way better in the polls, but he's ruined that. Watch this first answer where Trump brags about wanting to raise taxes on the middle class.
Through a system of taxes, positive, we call it positive taxation, we are going to bring companies in at a level that you've never seen in this country before. I was doing it in my administration, and then what we did, and nobody's ever seen what we're doing.
Okay, so at a pivotal time when people in the middle class, especially people in the working class, are complaining about prices being too high, Trump wants to introduce multiple inflationary policies at once while also cutting taxes and increasing spending, so it creates a massive, massive budget. I mean, he does not know what he's doing. He's BSing his way through, and that gets more and more obvious every day. Watch Trump answering a question about COVID.
So we do. We have record national debt. We've never had anything like it before. We were getting ready to start paying down debt, and then we got hit with a thing called COVID, or the China virus, and that had to be the focus, and we needed to help businesses stay in business. And if we didn't do the job we did, Linda McMahon did a great job, Small Business Association. If we didn't do the job...
Linda McMahon resigned from the Trump administration in 2019, by the way.
...that we did, you wouldn't have any companies, right? You would have been in a depression like in 1929.
Donald Trump's brain, especially over the past 2 weeks, hasn't been working. Now, of course, he's been on a steady decline for months and years, perhaps, but I really feel like over the past week or two, some of the word salads we've gotten have been unparalleled and consistent, very consistent word salads. They're getting more and more consistent. That's how you can tell the consistency of them. And I'm going to be that guy. This might make people mad, but I think Kamala Harris should go on Joe Rogan's show. I think she should challenge Trump to a debate on Joe Rogan publicly. I mean, leverage that platform for a few reasons. I'm about to play the big clip where Trump pisses the audience off, but she has nothing to lose by going on Joe Rogan. You're not going to lose or alienate any liberal voters that hate Trump because they're going to vote either way. They hate Trump that much, but you could gain some young people, or maybe even some people who are disillusioned will stay home and not vote for Trump because Joe Rogan doesn't have the mental capacity to push back. He's such a bro that he will let both Trump and Kamala roll through him. And imagine a reality where Kamala proposes a debate on Joe Rogan. If she gets the debate, then you have hundreds of millions of eyeballs seeing Trump melt down in real time, and we know that Kamala can handle it. We saw that tonight. She can obviously handle that and Joe Rogan at the same time. And if Kamala proposes the debate and Trump doesn't take it, if Trump doesn't take it, then Joe Rogan will probably say, yeah, Trump oddly refused to debate. It was very, very weird, and then that loses him votes as well. Maybe I'm just being too wishful, but here is the clip of Donald Trump pissing off the audience.
I am a Republican, no longer registered, though. I want to give you the opportunity to try to win back my vote. Okay. Your, let say, action and maybe inaction during your presidency and the last few years sort of, was a little disturbing to me. What happened during January 6th and the fact that, you waited so long to take action while your supporters were attacking the Capitol. Coronavirus, I thought the public was misled during coronavirus, and that many more lives could have been saved if we would have been informed better. And also people in your administration who don't support you. I'm curious how people so close to you and your administration no longer want to support you, so why would I want to support you?
Yep.
If you would answer these questions for me, I would really appreciate it and give you the opportunity. There's, your own vice president doesn't want to support you now.
Thank you.
I want everybody in the comment section to let me know, is Trump A, going to thoroughly ease all of this guy's concerns in a very articulate manner? Is he B, going to acknowledge his mistakes and try to remedy them? Or C, deflect, bully, word salad, and act like he did nothing wrong? It's a tough one.
So the people that don't support a very small portion. We have a tremendous, about 97% of the people in the administration support me. But because it's me, somebody doesn't support, they get a little publicity. The vice president, I disagree with him on what he did. I totally disagreed with him on what he did. Very importantly, you had hundreds of thousands of people come to Washington. They didn't come because of me. They came because of the election. They thought the election was a rigged election, and that's why they came. Some of those people went down to the Capitol. I said, peacefully and patriotically, nothing done wrong at all, nothing done wrong. And action was taken, strong action. Ashley Babbitt was killed. Nobody was killed. There were no guns down there. We didn't have guns. The others had guns, but we didn't have guns. And
wait a minute. Sorry, I am dying laughing. He said Ashley Babbitt was killed. Nobody was killed. And then this lady in the audience goes, what? What you watch?
Peacefully and patriotically, nothing done wrong at all, nothing done wrong. And action was taken, strong action. Ashley Babbitt was killed. Nobody was killed. There were no guns down there. We didn't have guns. The others had guns, but we didn't have guns. And when I say we, these are people that walked down. This was a tiny percentage of the overall, which nobody sees and nobody shows. But that was a day of love from the standpoint of the millions. It's like hundreds of thousands. It could have been the largest group I've ever spoken before. They asked me to speak. I went and I spoke. And I used the term peacefully and patriotically. If you look at the Democrats, what they say, you look at Maxine Waters and you look at Hillary Clinton and you look at what they say, and they don't put that on. They only put Republicans on. But they couldn't get me because of the fact that I said everything's got to be peaceful and patriotic.
I don't know where we are at this point. I don't know what he's talking about at this point. But this dude's face when Donald Trump said it was a day of love. I think this is the moment.
Nobody shows. But that was a day of love from the standpoint of the millions.
That is absolutely hilarious. From the standpoint of the millions. I mean, these people know that Donald Trump is BSing, and this supports what I said earlier in the video. The more Trump campaigns, the more he hurts himself. Now, there's more that I want to revisit and break down about this clip, but we have a few more. There are a few more that I want to play. Donald Trump is asked right here about climate change. Take a look.
Good evening, Mr. President. For 30 years, I've been working in the construction industry and building water plants in Florida. I've seen with my own eyes the devastating impacts of climate change. Things that include sea level rise, saltwater intrusion in our drinking water supply, frequent flooding of our coastal communities. Given the amount of the mounting evidence of climate change, do you still believe it's a hoax?
Well, let me tell you, first of all, I built, Okeechobee Dam, and I did so much for Florida in terms of when I was president, and even as a private person, I built a lot. But I did the Okeechobee Dam, which solved a big problem from the climate standpoint. What I do think is this: we can't destroy our country over being forced to do things. They want to do I call it the Green New Deal. They call it the Green New Deal. Some people call it the Green New Hoax. They want to spend $93 trillion on the climate.
This guy looks petrified. This guy looks like he saw a ghost.
Now, I happen to think that there are very important elements of climate, water and air. In my administration...
Jesus.
Now, I happen to think that there are very important elements of climate, water and air. In my administration, I had the cleanest air on record, and yet I didn't destroy jobs. I had the most jobs of any administration ever. I also had the cleanest water, crystal clean. We had the cleanest water, the cleanest air. To me, those are the primary factors. Clean water, clean air. We went into rural parts of the country and fixed people's water. They were drinking such terrible water. It was very important to me. All of that's important. At the same time, you can't give up your country. You can't say that we're not going to have any jobs anymore. If they took their ultimate, which is $93 trillion, the Green New Deal, $93 trillion, that's more money than we would have in 20 years. We wouldn't be able to survive. We wouldn't be able to live. So I always feel that with the climate, and I have been an environmentalist. I built many things. I own Doral right next door, and we did that in a very environment. I got awards.
All right, this man is just yapping at this point. Tara in the reply says, This is an inaccurate and false response. Brookings counts 74 actions to date by the Trump admin to weaken environmental protections. Trump has received one award. The Friends of Westchester County Parks gave Trump its inaugural Green Space Award for donating 400 acres to a state park tax system, but most likely for a tax write-off, not out of any actual altruism. Here is a clip that shows Fox News selectively editing out parts of Donald Trump's answer in the interview with Kamala Harris.
He asked that question to the former president today. Harris Faulkner had a town hall, and this is how he responded.
I heard about that. They were saying I was like threatening. I'm not threatening anybody. They're the ones doing the threatening. They do phony investigations. I've been investigated more than Alphonse Capone. He was the greatest gangster. No, it's true. No, but think of it. It's called weaponization of government. It's a terrible thing.
Kamala Harris.
Okay, so think about it. If Donald Trump has been investigated more than Al Capone, number one, that reflects poorly on Trump, not our government. But number two, when they played this clip during the interview between Kamala and Bret Baier, they cut out the worst part of Trump's answer intentionally.
Harris has said you sounded unhinged, and unchecked power is in our future. What do you say about that?
I thought it was a nice presentation. I wasn't unhinged. You know what they are? They're a party of sound bites. Somebody asked me, can they be brought together? It was I never thought, really, I wasn't thinking like they could, because they're very, very different. And it is the enemy from within, and they're very dangerous. They're Marxists and communists and fascists.
He said it in that interview, and he said much worse in that one clip, but of course, Fox News won't play the entire answer, and they're projecting, because Donald Trump has been saying that 60 Minutes cutting out 20 seconds of Kamala Harris's answer and then posting that answer the next day is election interference, the greatest scandal since Watergate, even worse than Watergate, but Fox News is free to just manipulate everything like we live in North Korea, and they don't care.
And they're sick. I use a guy like Adam Schiff because they made up the Russia hoax. It took 2 years to solve the problem. Absolutely nothing was done wrong, et cetera, et cetera. They're dangerous for our country. We have China, we have Russia, we have all these countries.
Russia?
If you have a smart president, they can all be handled. The more difficult are, you know, the Pelosi's, these people, they're so sick. And they're so evil. If they would spend their time trying to make America great.
He said we're sick, we're evil. He implies that we hate America. We don't want it to be great. I mean, this man is totally unhinged, and I'm glad that Republicans see that. I love their reactions in this clip.
So why would I want to support you? If you would answer these questions for me, I would really appreciate it and give you the opportunity. There's, you know, your own vice president doesn't want to support you now.
Thank you, Ramiro.
So, the people that don't support a very small portion. We have a tremendous, about 97% of the people in the administration support me. But because it's me, somebody doesn't support, they get a little publicity. The vice president, I disagree with him on what he did. I totally disagreed with him.
Also, I do want to say something I didn't point out is Donald Trump grabs his ear as this guy is speaking the first time, almost in a bully sort of fashion. Let me find it. Right here, once he realizes this guy is asking kind of a tough question, Donald Trump decides to grab his ear. Absolutely disgusting, bully-like tactic. If you enjoyed this video, if you appreciate my commentary, let me know in the comment section below. Make sure you drop a like, double check, triple check to make sure you're subscribed. Have a great rest of your day, and peace out.